1 week after the finale of the 2020 Digimon Adventure reboot, there's a brand new original Digimon series that just premiered. There hasn't been a back-to-back series handoff like this in almost 20 years since Tamers to Frontier, so it feels like the future of Digimon is bright, but it's also dark based on the first episode of Digimon Ghost Game, which appears to be delivering us a horror-themed take on the premise of digital monsters appearing in our world. Today we're talking about the pilot, the first episode of Digimon Ghost Game, unpacking what you just saw and what we may have in store this series. If you're new here, welcome. If you were with me during our Digimon Adventure 2020 watch along and review era, then welcome back. Consider subscribing if you like the idea of going on an adventure with Digimon, watching and then discussing Ghost Game with fellow fans in the comments of these reviews every Sunday. So let's begin at the beginning. Digimon Ghost Game is set in the semi-distant future in Japan, seemingly Sapporo if I understood correctly. It's a cool change considering most Digimon series revolve around Tokyo. We know we're in the future because Hero's phone shows 7G service and AR-style holograms play a vital role in urban living. There's a hologram stop sign, a holographic yellow caution tape later in the episode. The prevalence of hologram tech is probably why when the rumors first start spreading about ghost sightings, the kids around town, they kind of brush it off as some lame hologram advertisement campaign that missed the mark. We, the viewer, quickly learn it is no game though when in the first 4 minutes of the pilot, we see this young teenage girl have the age sucked out of her, shriveling up with the creepiest looking take on Clockmon you've ever seen. They call it the Sewn-Lip man, and he strikes again. We meet Rudy, who we know will become one of the main characters, and she wants to hunt for the Sewn-Lip man and puts out a call online. It's kind of cool that we meet her before the main character, Hero, but there isn't much more from her this week other than a mention later in the episode. But we cut to our new central protagonist, the no goggles wearing Hiro, H-I-R-O. It's a pretty common name in Japan. There's this extended flashback to Hiro tiptoeing around his family house, stepping into his dad's laboratory slash workstation and finding almost a crater where his dad's desk is supposed to be. In the crater is the vital bracelet that Toei and Bandai have been promoting in real life for about a year. The cynical take is obviously that yes, this is the product placement part to sell a fitness watch Digivice to viewers, but there's also a part of me that loves when the real product fits into the world of the show. Kid me loved Power Rangers morphers, and it was because the heroes in the show had them too. Same with Digivices, obviously. But Hiro doesn't disclose to the authorities when they arrive that he found his bracelet in the crater, just that his dad is now missing. Back in the present, Hiro's friends want to answer the call that girl put out to hunt for the Sewn-Lip man. He and Hiro sneak into an auditorium, and it's here where we get our second meeting with Clockmon. Following this super scary clock ticking noise, by itself that might not be that scary, but it is when we just saw, not 10 minutes ago, Clockmon vacuuming the youth out of an innocent girl. Hiro's friend suffers the same fate as that girl. It's genuinely the horror vibe that I think a lot of fans were hoping for when they saw the trailer for Ghost Game. Nothing here is going to make you, pee your pants with fear, but Digimon taking on that creepy urban legend style horror in a weekly series, it's such a fascinating concept. These are digital monsters after all. We've seen some creepy Digimon. The funny thing is Clockmon wasn't a creepy Digimon until now, so just imagine how scary they're going to make legitimately creepy Digimon like Devimon look in this series if they made Clockmon so scary. Hiro dodges the same fate as his friend when building staff turn on the lights in the auditorium and it stops Clockmon. Another cool little horror trope that I enjoyed. Hiro's friend is hospitalized, we learn, and Hiro goes back to his room where he hears shifting around. He remembers the bracelet and pulls out a box containing 3 bracelets, which threw me off a bit. We did not see him with 3 in the flashback, so I don't know what that's about, but it's the first episode, so they have all the time in the world to elaborate. Clearly his 2 other Ghost Game partners will be getting these in the near future. When Hiro pops a certain chip in the bracelet, we hear his father's voice as the Siri-style operating system for the vital bracelet, but perhaps the weirdest part of this scene and coolest is what looks like a black Gatomon slash Tailmon wearing a sleeveless hoodie. It points to a corner of Hiro's room before completely disappearing. This is a great little mystery setup moment. I need to know what that scene was all about. Next, Gammamon appears, and this little guy already feels like the perfect main partner Digimon. The voice is excellent, so adorable. Even though this will be a horror-inspired series, they're giving us a super sweet little buddy. Virtual Grass appears in Hiro's dorm room, as does a recorded hologram message from his dad explaining that what he's seeing is the digital world. Quote, "Well, It's like a cyberspace. I don't know too much about it, but it's cool, huh? Starting today, Gammamon is your little brother, which we need to talk about how precious, funny, and refreshing this is for a Digimon partnership. That the dynamic is not that they're partners or co-cops or friends. It's that Gammamon sees himself as Hiro's little brother. It's incredible. Gammamon is in this sort of holographic translucent form before Hiro pops a chip in the bracelet that turns him fully opaque like a traditional Digimon. This is very Appmon with the app realizing premise from that show, minus the ghost and mild horror elements here. I think folks who watched Appmon will find a lot of similarities and familiarities with the two shows moving forward, but that's just a hunch. We don't know quite for sure yet. We then get Clockmon's third appearance this episode, but this time Hiro has Gammamon who lunges at Clockmon. The two fly out the window and Hiro chases after in the middle of the night. It reminds me that Digimon at night rules, just as a concept. Like Tamers had great scenes at night. The original Digimon Adventure short film, of course, was set at night. Revenge of Angoramon. So if this show keeps up scenes of Japan at night, I'm going to be super happy. Gammamon gets thrown around a little bit, and for a mysterious minute, we see this dark aura forming around him. It's a great tease for a future evolution for sure. We saw a few forms for Gammamon in the opening. It looks like Karn EX was exactly right, that Gammamon will have kind of RGB evolutions with 3 directional evolutions plus a mysterious 4th dark one, and maybe more. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This battle proves to be really smart because Clockmon's trying to age Gammamon, but Hiro throws a little branch into the aging beam thing and it causes the twig to rapidly grow into a giant tree that almost crushes Clockmon. We get the great Digimon back and forth that you expect from a pilot, where Hiro says, I don't understand what's going on, but you're my brother, right? Gammamon gets a lot of power from that acceptance and uses a new technique called Break Claw that deals enough damage to Clockmon that it actually de-ages the 2 kids in the hospital. They get their youth restored. Interestingly, Clockmon gets away at the end of the episode. I didn't really expect that. He's not defeated entirely. At the end of it all, Hiro collapses from exhaustion by Gammamon's side, and Gammamon says, take good care of me, while Hiro asks, Dad, what in the world just started? I am feeling really good about this pilot. They weren't afraid to get creepy with the nightmarish way Clockmon stole those characters' youth. Keep in mind, this is a show that airs on Sunday mornings in Japan. It's definitely going to be scarring the next generation of kids watching Digimon. And we have a lot to look forward to based on those intro and outro animations. I love the idea that Jellymon will be messing with her human partner, considering how scared of her he looks. Duty seems to be expressing that she has no fear of the ghosts / the Digimon, and I really love that. And her partner's evolution looks amazing. I already saw some folks on Twitter saying that they get huge King Kazuma from Summer Wars vibes from the little teaser we saw in the opening. We're probably going to the digital world at some point in this series, since it appears Hiro's dad found himself trapped there, but personally, coming off of Adventure 2020 that was all set in the digital world, I want to spend as much time as possible in the human world with these ghost stories. Lastly, it should go without saying if you've watched the episode already or you saw the screenshots in my video, but this series is gorgeous so far. It doesn't look like anything I'm aware of on Toei's animation lineup. It's a great new look for Digimon, and if I had to compare it to anything, it reminds me of The Great Pretender that was on Netflix. It's simultaneously super colorful and bouncy, but that almost makes the dark and scary scenes darker and scarier in a way. But yeah, that is episode 1 of Digimon Ghost Game. We don't know how long the show is going to run for, but the future of Digimon is currently based in this horror setting. I'm very excited to hit reset on Digimon and fully experience a brand new take on the franchise. I know there were some skeptics out there when Ghost Game was announced because, let's be honest, not every Digimon series is for everyone, but on the other hand, the fact it reinvents itself so frequently is what makes Digimon special. But to anyone who was not planning to check it out, I hope either by watching the first episode or by listening to me in this video, you'll reconsider and try it out at least for a few weeks. As always, I want to know what you thought about the episode in the comments, so please head down and write up your thoughts. I'll be responding to as many as I can today. Honestly, I'm stoked we get to go on a new journey together with Digimon. If you made it to the end of this video, I'll ask you once again to hit the subscribe button. I know that the algorithm is really good these days at showing you videos from your favorite creators, so you don't even have to subscribe, but for things like sponsorships and just personal milestones, the subscriber count really does mean a lot. So yeah, it would mean the world to me if you've seen even 2 of my videos, you'd hit subscribe. All right, have a great week, everyone, and we'll talk next Sunday after Digimon Ghost Game episode 2.